Hi there, and welcome to Let's Slow Down, a podcast for all of you who feel tired and stressed from this overwhelming world. Here we'll have fun, inspiring conversations about living life on our own terms and explore ways to ease the pace of our modern world, because life really is good when you're relaxed enough to be present for it. I'm your host, Anne-Marie Stolting, and I welcome you to this space where I hope to inspire you to slow down, because life is too short to let it go by in a blur. So take a deep breath, relax, and enjoy the show. Hello, here we are, mid-February, 42 days into 2025, which is just about the time that many Americans happen to give up on their New Year's resolutions. How about you? Did you make one? And if so, how is it going? Do not beat yourself up here. It's all good. I personally don't even make them because I just don't operate that way, and many of us don't. But nearly half of Americans do make New Year's resolutions, and only 25% actually stay committed to them after just 30 days, according to Columbia University. And even fewer, less than 10%, actually accomplish them. That's why I choose to pick a word of the year to live by and embrace each January 1st. And on today's show, my friend Ronnie and I are having a discussion about the words each of us chose for this year and how we plan to utilize them to stay intentional for 2025. Let's jump into our conversation. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Let's Slow Down podcast. I am thrilled to have my best friend of 30 plus years here with me today, Ronnie, back for a second time. She was on episode 2, over 2 years ago now, and she's back to have a conversation. We're going to talk about our words of the year. So welcome back, Ron.
Thanks for having me. I feel like it seems so long ago, and then it seems not that long at all. So I'm so happy to be back. Thank you.
100-something episodes later, here
Yeah,
we
exactly.
are.
Every 100 episodes, I'll be back.
Yes, hopefully more often. And I have to thank Ronnie here because she's been such a supporter of this show and of me, and having people like that in our lives does make such a huge difference. And I'm grateful to you always.
Oh, thank you. You're my Tuesday morning. I don't have to call you when I'm on the way to work because I turn on the podcast and I feel like I'm talking to you. So it's all good.
So Ronnie is actually, I think you were the inspiration for me to choose a word of the year, like a bunch of years ago now. I remember you telling me I think Beth, your sister-in-law did it, and she was telling me, and I think that's a really nice idea. It's like a cool way to start the new year and be intentional. And so we've been doing it for a while, and we always talk about it and kind of share them with each other and bounce ideas around. So what did you pick for 2025?
Well, you're actually the one who reminded me to pick a word this year. So thank you.
I should actually interrupt you and just say that 2 years ago, you were on the show and you had 2 little girls. Ronnie now has 3 children, so she added a son to the mix.
Yes, which is why I almost forgot to pick my word.
He just turned 1, so she has her hands full. But,
Our December was full of birthdays and holidays. And so thank you for the reminder to pick a word. And my word for this year of 2025 is faith. I picked the word faith, and I'm so happy with it. So far, it's going really well with I do some Bible readings. We actually do them together. So, and also just any readings that I do, I can look up the word faith, and kind of there's so much behind it if you want to read about it, which is just how I start usually my year with the word. I say, okay, you know what? Here's my word. Let me really dive deep into what the meaning actually is to then understand where I can go from there with the word.
I do the same thing. I feel like I focus on it so much in the beginning, and I should share that my word is peace for this year. I think I mentioned that on the previous episode. My word is peace. And same thing, especially with Bible readings, I do associate peace. It has a lot of church references. I think peace be with you. Go in peace to love and serve the Lord. I just think of peace that way, but also just an internal peace of just kind of peace of mind and peace with where I'm at in my life, and just trying to embrace really all aspects of peace. I wrote down a bunch of different quotes that I was finding in the beginning of the year too. And we are recording this at the end of January. It'll probably be coming out sometime in February. So, we're still early on in the year and everything is still fresh. But we were just saying how sometimes we forget, we can't remember all of the words we've chosen in the past. So maybe we can figure out a few ways to hold ourselves accountable and to share with the listeners ways to keep it in the front of your mind when it's summer and fall and it's 10 months ago you picked your word. What is it? Try and keep
So I kind of so we had talked about that, and I came up with something that I don't know what will work or not, but I think we can try it. I was like, I need to find an acronym for my word. So, of course, with Google, you don't have to do the work. I just Googled it. And my acronym for faith is forwarding all issues to heaven.
Oh,
I know. I was like, oh, I like that one. Or forwarding all issues to him. I decided like one of
okay.
them doesn't.
I
And
like that.
I was like, oh, okay. Because I feel like the reason I chose the word faith is because I do feel like when issues arise, you can call them issues, you can call them problems, you can call them, everyday kind of things that get in the way or, that take all of the space in your mind. I just want to like somehow get them out of my mind. So I think that was my thing this year. Like I need something that to clear my mind to focus on my three children, not to focus on all the other noise. So I feel like having faith can do that. I just need to work on having that faith and so to clear my mind, to clear the space. So forwarding all issues to heaven is what I'm going to keep saying to myself when I need to clear my mind. And whether it be July, August, September, May, I'm going to hopefully, if I stick with that acronym, that's like one way that I think it'll help me to keep my word, kind of at the forefront of my mind throughout the year. Because, like you said, by 365 days later, we're both like, wait, what was our word again?
Yep. Happens without fail.
I know. I know. I know Beth had told me when she introduced this idea to me, what she does is she makes her screensaver on her phone something about the word.
I like that
Ye
too.
Yeah, so that's one way, again, to keep because you're always looking at your phone, right? Whether
Yep.
you got it for the time or whatever, just so if it's there, whether it be the screensaver, the lock screen, another screen, as long if it's, like, there somewhere, then you'll kind of keep it at the forefront of your mind.
They're just little subtle reminders. I like the phone thing because you do constantly look at it. So it just is a little check in and reminds you, oh, yeah, I'm going to have faith or how am I
Yeah.
bringing peace into my life? Like, I find that I'm asking myself that a lot. And I'm better at the beginning of the day when I try to have those couple minutes in the morning and I do my little Bible reading and I just sit, even if it's for 3 minutes, sit with my
Yeah.
coffee just for a minute before everything gets going, and I try to ask myself, like and remind myself how I'm gonna bring peace into my life and that that's important to me, and just to embrace that, and when I just saying that word even, peace and faith, I think they're so similar too, but
I was gonna say they kinda go together.
yeah, and
Yeah.
it's just calming, like you say, "Peace, okay, feel calmer." Just gonna go around chanting peace, you
Yeah,
know?
exactly. Your kids are gonna be like, "Wait, mom, are you okay?"
What is she saying? I was looking up some information about like how to choose like best ways to things to consider when you're choosing your word of the year. And they said that looking for a word that inspires and kind of evokes a feeling, some kind of feeling in you is important because it's really, it's really not about the word. It's about
Yeah.
what we're trying to feel, right? What we're trying to achieve, what's either missing in our life or what we want more of. And I feel like both of our words are pretty good with that. Some of the ones that I was trying to think back, I only can remember 2 at the moment, but I know I chose ease a couple of years ago. I actually think I don't know if you chose it and then I chose it. I feel like we've had ease several times,
Yeah.
and that was a good one. Just how can I make things easier? How can I just not force things too much? Just make life calmer, slowing down. And last year, I remember I chose accept because I was having this big knee surgery. I had it was just a year ago, last January. And I thought, like, times things happen in our life that we can't, a lot of times things happen in our life that we cannot plan for, that we don't have a ton of control over. And we just have to accept them and kind of embrace where we are and know that they're not going to last forever and try to be positive and hopeful and move through them.
Yeah, I think that was one of my words too, acceptance and maybe hope. I think actually now that you said that, I wanna say that hope was one of my words, which kinda goes with all those things you were just talking about, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So and it's just to have something to look forward to, kind of like, all right, there is, in a new year, a new, just new things, different things. You don't know what the future holds, but you can hope that things are going to, progress the way you want them to or in a positive way. So try to pick positive words, right?
Mhm.
And
Yes.
it's just kind of just to, like you said, you're going to think about it every day. You're going to read about it. So you want to keep it kind of positive.
And I think I like this better than doing like a New Year's resolution
Mhm.
because it really is. I think in some ways it's almost more intentional because it's really what you want to embrace and embody rather than like, oh, I have to do this or achieve this. No, like what do you want to, what is your essence? Like I want to just feel peace. I want to add peace, bring peace to a room when I walk into it, rather than be crazy and high strung. I just want to have peace. So I think that feeling bit of it is really important.
Yeah. And I think, what I don't like about New Year's resolutions or why I don't do them is because I don't keep up with them. Right. So I might do them for a week or two or even three, but it just doesn't last throughout the year. And here we are talking about how we kind of forget our word by the end of the year, or,
Right. Even
and
that.
so that's why I would like to be more intentional about this word this year and find ways, whether it be every month. Like right now, I said the acronym thing. So this month I've been focusing on that. I think next month I might, like you said, I'll put it on my phone and do that for the month of February. And then I want to find like something different to do for each month to highlight the word so it doesn't become old.
Mhm.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a good idea. Maybe we
Yeah,
can
because
kinda
I
keep
feel like
ourselves in check with that.
yeah, because even the acronym can get old, or the thing on my phone, I'll be like, "No, I want a picture of my kids back," or whatever. "I want the beach," like, when the summer comes. So, I'm gonna try every month to come up with something different. So, maybe you and I can share that too, like, share ways. Then we only have to come up with 6 each instead of 12.
Exactly.
I already came up
Yeah.
with 2, so
I have to say, for everybody listening, I think that this is just a really fun thing to do with a friend, with a spouse, with a sibling. You could do it with your kids. I mean, it's good for all ages, but yeah, it's important to think about what you wanna choose personally, but it really does help. I mean, I know Ronnie and I have had discussions about like, what should we pick or what are we looking to kind of feel this year or what do we need? And having interesting when you have that conversation with somebody that knows you really well, they can guide you a little bit. And I think it's just more fun and we can help each other out and we can hold each other accountable. Just checking in with that person once in a while, like, hey, what's your word again?
yeah,
And how's that going for you? I think it's just always nice to have a little buddy with this stuff, everything,
yeah,
but
for
especially
sure.
something like this.
And especially because, like, I think I was reading something, it must have been last week. I think I sent it to you or I highlighted it in our reading. And I saw peace and do you know what I mean? I was like, oh, Emery needs to read this for her. But it also made me think of the word peace, which is not a bad thing. Right? It's always good to think of
Exactly.
more. Yeah. So it kind of it gives you like two words to focus, like one primary and one secondary or whatever. It's nice. That's why it's fun to do it with a friend as well.
I've been noticing it. I mean, I know it's like this law of attraction thing, and when you're thinking about
Mhm.
something, you start to see it and feel it, and I just actually another former guest, Dr. Peggy DeLong, she was the gratitude psychologist. I don't know if you remember her. She was on actually, I think I bought you her book,
Yeah. I did.
and she's lovely. She's absolutely lovely, and she reached out to me. We had coffee the other day. She lives in my town, and she was telling me she's gonna come on the show. For everyone listening, she's gonna come on the show again, hopefully in the
Oh, yeah.
spring. So that'll be fun. She has a new little acronym that she's kind of teaching her process through. And what do you know? It's peace. It's peace. And I forget what every letter stands for. I know the P was, I believe, purpose, empowerment, maybe. But when she said that to me, I was like, "Of course it is. Of course it's peace." Because and then I told her, "That's my word of the year," and she was laughing, and it's just so funny how all these little things kind of pop up, and,
Yeah.
I was
Funny, now you have to get that acronym from her and make sure that like,
exactly, and
use
I
it this
forget, I
month.
was on, like, I don't know, some site that I hadn't been on in forever, like a picture camera photos or something, and I had to look up my password, I couldn't remember what it was. It was peace,
Yeah.
and I chose it, like, a million years ago. So, I guess it's always been important to me, and I've
A
always
sign.
craved more of
Yes,
it.
that is definitely a sign. I mean, that's already cute things, and we're only in January still.
I know, I'm seeing it everywhere. So, this podcast is really a place where we can focus on keeping things simple, but also super intentional, like really being smart about our decisions and making the most of how we live each day. And the word of the year is a really fun way to do that. And it's so simple. A lot of this stuff it's really just, oh, maybe think of it this way or shift your perspective just a little bit or just remind yourself of what is important. We always talk about trying to like weed out all the distractions
Mhm.
and find what matters. This is a nice way to remind ourselves of what is important to us and how we want to go through the next year.
Yeah, no, I love it, and I know I mentioned this to you when I first picked the word, but I saw Faith yesterday. Emery and I have a good friend whose mom's name is Faith, and I thought of her, I didn't get to mention it to her because we were kind of in a crazy busy setting with the birthday party happening, but I thought in my head, I'm like, "I'm going to sit down and have a conversation with her this year at some point."
Yes, that should be one of your months.
I think
Just
that'll be
plan to have
great.
coffee with her.
Yeah, and, just because she's puts a positive spin on everything, and
Yes, Ronnie and I have talked about
yeah.
her. She is one. I mean, there's really only a few people that I can think of off the top of my head that are so I mean, her energy, I don't even really know how to put it into words, but you can't help but have this huge, like, ear to ear grin on your face when you are around Faith. She's the best. She
Yeah.
is the best, and Ronnie and I grew up with her, but we don't Ronnie sees her more often than I do, but I'll see her, I don't know, once a year, once every couple years, and or even if she, like, responds to something on Facebook, even the way in her little comments, you can feel it. You can feel her love and her energy and she's just a special person, and we're lucky to know her and have her in our life, but I love that that's your word.
That'll be one way to remember the word and keep it going
Yep,
in the year, so
yep, exactly. And for anybody listening, like, I'm sure everyone as I'm describing her probably is thinking of the person in their life that they know that's like that. Reach out
yeah,
to
I'm sure
them.
you
Get to
can
know
probably
them
find
better.
somebody in your life that reminds you of the word peace, right? That
Mhm.
it's like you think of the person and they just like deep breath, they always seem at peace. So maybe you could have like a coffee or conversation with that person. It could be
Yeah.
somebody from your podcast, somebody from your personal life,
Yep.
that
Yeah,
brings
I think
evokes
when
that
we see role
feeling.
models like that are living the way that we hope to live and hope to carry ourselves, A, I think it's nice to tell them, like, "You inspire me. You really inspire me. I wanna be more like that." Or just pick their brain a little bit. How? How do you keep this attitude all the time? How are you always such a bright light? And just learn from whoever you can. I think that
Yeah,
God puts people in our lives for very specific reasons and to teach us lessons, and let's just make the most of them and just have fun with it.
definitely. I think that horror in particular that we're talking about just like evokes a special feeling inside you, right?
Yes.
So, like, think of a person that you can talk to in your life, or, and for your listeners, somebody that just evokes the feeling that you're looking for from your word. Keep that person at the forefront of your mind when you're trying to think about your word, live your word.
Yes. How would they handle this?
Yeah.
When you're in a sticky situation or you're tired or stressed. Okay, well,
About
what would
it.
they do here? What would they do? Yeah. This is fun. I hope that all of you in your life have someone like I do and Ronnie. It is a true gift. And to have a best friend, I mean, we've been friends since we were in second grade and we've gone through a lot of life together and good things and bad things, lots and lots of good things. And it's just nice to have a partner in crime through all of it to have these kind of conversations with and to do life with. So
Yes, thank you. And we have to have more of these Zooms. We should just have them regularly without recording.
Ron, before we started recording, we were like, we probably should just have a Zoom every single night before bed. Just recap everything. But yeah, we'll do this. We'll definitely do this from time to time on the podcast too. So
For sure.
thanks for coming on today. Maybe we'll do one at the end of the year and
Perfect.
see like how all of this went. And maybe we'll learn some other fun tricks along the way to make
Mhm.
our word even more meaningful.
And that will force us to remember our word. So there you go.
Exactly. Exactly. So hope you all have fun choosing your word of the year if you choose to do it and pick a buddy to do it with and just have a good time with it. And I hope that 2025 is a really great one for everybody. Thanks for being here, Ron.
Thanks for having me.
I hope you've enjoyed our journey together. Please take a moment to rate and review the show. It really helps us grow and reach others looking to slow down too. Wishing you simplicity and ease in your world, and I'll see you back here next week.